Donald Trump spoke to Vladimir Putin about Ukraine. Republicans are getting closer to gaining full control of the House. And a court ruled who gets the engagement ring after a breakup. That's some of what we'll get to on the 7 from the Washington Post. I'm Christina Quinn, in for Hannah Jewell. It's Monday, November 11th. Happy Veterans Day. Let's get you caught up with today's 7 stories. Number 1. President-elect Donald Trump has urged Vladimir Putin not to escalate the war in Ukraine. This is an exclusive story from the Post. According to our reporting, Trump spoke with the Russian president on Thursday. It was the first phone call between the two men since Trump won the election last week. During their conversation, Trump reminded Putin of Washington's hefty military presence in Europe, and the two men are said to have discussed the goal of peace on the European continent. The Kremlin this morning denied that the conversation took place and said there are no specific plans for Putin and Trump to communicate. During his campaign, Trump said he would bring an immediate end to the war in Ukraine, but he did not offer details about how he would do that. The call comes amid general uncertainty about how Trump will reset the world's diplomatic chessboard when he returns to the White House. He says he's spoken to about 70 world leaders since the election, including a phone call with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. During that call, the two leaders were joined by billionaire Elon Musk. Number 2. Republicans are inching toward winning the House. The current balance of power in the House is 213 Republicans and 203 Democrats. There are 19 races left uncalled. Republicans need to win just 5 of them to secure a majority, while Democrats need to win 15. If Republicans ultimately lock in a House majority, it would ensure that Trump's staunchly conservative agenda largely goes into effect. Republicans have already won control of the Senate, and a Republican-controlled Congress would be committed to moving fast on tax cuts and passing policies to secure the southern border. The picture will become more clear this week as more results come in, and Republicans will pick a new Senate Majority Leader this week. Number 3. The annual United Nations Climate Change Conference began in Azerbaijan this morning.
Your Excellencies, distinguished delegates, dear friends, welcome to Azerbaijan. Welcome to COP29.
Leaders are gathering in Azerbaijan's capital, Baku, for COP29. The negotiations come as Earth is on track to endure its hottest year on record for the second year in a row. Last year, world leaders signed up to a historic agreement to move away from coal, oil, and gas. But so far, they have failed to live up to that pledge. The U.S. is producing more oil than any country ever, a trajectory expected to accelerate once Trump returns to the White House. Biden administration officials are trying to find ways to offset that impact. Trump's victory set off a scramble to lock in as many of President Joe Biden's landmark environmental policies as possible before Trump's inauguration. Number 4. Israeli airstrikes killed dozens of people across Gaza and Lebanon yesterday. The human toll of Israel's parallel wars continued to climb. In northern Gaza yesterday, a strike hit homes in a besieged refugee camp. The Gaza Health Ministry said at least 33 people were killed, including 13 children. In northern Lebanon, the country's health ministry said at least 20 people were killed, including 7 children, in an attack on a residential building. Israel's military said both strikes targeted militants. The lethal attack in Gaza came ahead of a U.S. deadline this week for Israel to improve aid across to the north, or the Biden administration could consider possible cuts to military assistance. But Washington is looking at an extended period of political transition after Trump's election victory, so it's unclear how much leverage the Biden administration still has over Israel. At number 5. Wildfires blanketed parts of New York City with potentially dangerous smoke. A fire broke out about 80 miles away in New York's Ulster and Sullivan counties, along with one closer to the city in New Jersey's Passaic County. Officials from both states say crews are fighting the flames in record-setting drought conditions, and one person fighting a blaze has died. Chief Bill Donnelly of the New Jersey Forest Fire Service gave updates about the wildfires yesterday at a news conference.
We had north winds, which brought the fire into New Jersey from New York. The area where the fire came into the state was inaccessible. So crews are in the process of building control lines around the fire on the New Jersey side.
Much of the Northeast has gone without rain for more than a month. The drought is made more dangerous when combined with the dried-out fall foliage covering much of the region. And while fall fires aren't rare, it's uncommon for the Northeast to have consecutive rounds of fire warnings. Number 6. It's been a weirdly warm November so far. It's been strangely mild in the eastern 2/3 of the United States. Across parts of 20 states, temperatures have been more than 10 degrees above average. If it's unusually warm where you live, you're probably starting to wonder if you'll ever have to pull out your hats and gloves. The answer can be partially found some 5,000 miles away in the North Pacific Ocean. The jet stream has been blowing more strongly than it normally does from north of its typical position. That has brought relatively cooler conditions to Alaska and parts of western North America, but much milder conditions to the east, and it's set to continue through mid-November with several additional surges of mild Pacific air across North America. And at number 7, a court decided who should get the engagement ring after a breakup. In 2017, a man proposed to a woman during a dinner in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. She said yes, other diners at the restaurant applauded, and the man gave his new fiancée a $70,000 Tiffany ring. But things eventually went south. The couple broke up before they were married, and he sued, claiming he was the rightful owner of the ring. His lawsuit forced Massachusetts' highest court to reconsider a 65-year-old ruling that said someone can only retrieve the engagement ring they gave their partner if they weren't at fault for the breakup. On Friday, the man learned he would reclaim the ring after the court ruled that from now on, an engagement ring must be returned to the buyer if the wedding falls through, regardless of who's at fault. So now we know who should legally get the ring if an engagement is broken off, at least in Massachusetts. All right, you're all caught up. But before you go, here's a reminder that we also have a newsletter. Today, that's where you can see a photo of that $70,000 engagement ring. You can have the 7 Morning Briefing delivered to your inbox early every weekday morning. All you have to do is sign up. To do that, hit the link in our show notes. I'm Christina Quinn. Hannah Jewell will meet you back here tomorrow.